for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please continue to stand as we have a moment of silence for our veterans. For the invocation tonight, we have Reverend Rick Massano.
Father, as we stand before you, Lord, there are many people here who are hurting, physically, financially, emotionally. And Father, we're asking, Lord, that your Spirit be here in a very special way. We pray, Father, that whatever transpires at this board meeting and for the agenda of the residents of Cheektowaga, that, Father, that you would be glorified. We pray, Father God, for each and every family here. And, Lord, that you would minister to each and every one of them. We pray, Father, for our police department. We thank you for them to keep us safe, Father. They put their lives on the line each and every day. We pray, Father God, for our service people. Lord God, whether they're abroad or here, that you keep them safe. And we pray for that war in Ukraine be ended, Lord. In the name of Jesus, your Son. We pray, Father, these things in your name. And we ask for your help. We ask for your strength. And we ask for your wisdom. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Christine Adamczak.
Here.
Councilmember Linda Hammer.
Here.
Councilmember Michael Jasinski.
Here.
Councilmember Gerald Kaminsky.
He's not
Council-
here.
Councilmember Brian Nowak.
Present.
Councilmember Brian Pilarski.
Present.
Supervisor Diane Benchkowski.
Here, we have 6 present tonight. The first item would be the public comment period. This is an opportunity for residents to comment on items appearing on the agenda. This is only if it's on the agenda of the town board meeting tonight. The public comment period should last 15 minutes maximum. Each speaker may speak only once, and each speaker shall be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes speaking time. Let me get the sheet. Okay, Madam Clerk, there's no one to speak on public agenda items, so I will close that portion of the meeting and go on to the public hearing.
A call for public hearing was made at the April 26, 2022 Town Board meeting, Resolution Item 2022-260, for the purposes related to the issuance of a special use permit and variances from the accessory drive-through window provisions of the zoning law of the Town of Cheektowaga for a new Taco Bell restaurant proposed at 1685 Walden Avenue. Anyone wishing to provide written comments were to email townclerkwebmail@tocny.org. They would be added to the record and provided to the town board members prior to the hearing. My office did not receive any comments on this.
You're the developer. Would you like to give us a little presentation?
Sure, I sure can, yeah. Good evening. My name's Adam Fischel with Marathon Engineering, 840 Hanshaw Road, Suite 6, Ithaca, New York. With me here tonight is Tommy Morgan from Quick Service Railco. We are here requesting a special use permit for a drive-through associated with the 2200.
Can you speak? Is that light on, the green light?
Yes.
You're going to have to speak a little louder in
Okay.
there.
We're here for the 2,200 square foot Taco Bell drive-through, specifically the special use permit request for the drive-through itself. The Taco Bell site is a portion of the currently 3-acre Aldi parcel where we're going to be subdividing off an acre and a half for the Taco Bell parcel itself. Access will be from the existing Aldi driveway there right now. There's no other proposed access points from Walden Avenue. We have been working closely with the town planning department to address engineering and site plan related comments. We are meeting the minimum stack requirement for the drive-through itself. And with that, I open up to any questions or comments.
Just a little clarity to start. You've got two entrances and exits on the property to go into the Aldi driveway.
Correct.
Now, is the one closer to Walden Avenue, is that going to be a one-way out?
Yes, thank you. It's going to be a one-way out.
And is the other one is going to be two-way traffic?
In and out, yes.
And as far as vehicles trying to get out of there, there'll be stop signs, right?
Correct.
And just want to make sure that all that's crystal clear, because especially on that southern side, I can see how if you had two-way traffic, it'd be a huge problem, so.
Yeah, it's an exit only, and all points of access will be stop controlled.
And the other question I had is the front portion of the property, is that for water retention?
That's a current stormwater management facility for Aldi, and we'll also be draining to it as well. So that'll have to be left as is.
Will it be a 24-hour location?
You got to come to the microphone, please.
No, we will open for breakfast at 7 a.m., and right now I think they're closing at 10 because of COVID and staffing issues. The hours have been shortened, but it's not a 24-hour site.
Any council members? Any other? Okay, we don't have anybody signed up, but I'll give you an opportunity. Does anybody want to ask a question while the developer is here or have a comment on this project only? Okay, with that being said, yes.
One last question. Are there any traffic studies being done about the impact of the traffic on Walden Avenue?
We have submitted a trip generation study prepared by SRF and Associates out of Rochester, and they've identified that there would be no adverse impacts due to traffic.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we will close the public hearing.
Thank you.
And then I'll move on to the consent agenda announcement. Tonight, we have a consent agenda as part of this meeting. If any council member wishes to remove an item for discussion, please tell me now, and I will remove the item from the consent agenda, and it will be added as a separate resolution item. Anybody? Okay, I need a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented. Councilmember Pilarski, seconded by Councilmember Adamczak. On the question? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Madam Clerk?
I have Resolution 2022-237. It is sponsored by Councilmember Pilarski, or I'm sorry, it is sponsored by Councilmember Nowak, seconded by Councilmember Pilarski. The Town Board established the position of Deputy Highway Superintendent by resolution adopted on March 2nd, 1964, pursuant to New York State Town Law, Section 32. By resolution adopted on May 4th, 1964, the Town Board amended the aforementioned March 2nd, 1964 resolution, correcting the title of Deputy Highway Superintendent to that of Deputy Superintendent of Highways. The Board, for reasons of economy and efficiency, hereby determined that it is in the best interest of the town to abolish the position of Deputy Superintendent of Highways. The position of Deputy Superintendent of Highways shall be abolished effective at the close of business on April 15th, 2022, and that following abolition of this position and compensation for services rendered by the incumbent through the effective date of abolition, any remaining funds from the budget line will be transferred to the general fund.
On the question, there's been significant discussion about this item, and new things have come to light. And being the mover on the resolution now, I'm going to move to poll it, and I'm going to ask that the second join me in polling the resolution.
Absolutely. With the retirements in that department, now is just not the time it hinders the department. It is a cost savings that we can visit down the road, but today is not the time to do it, and it would just affect services to the residents and the town.
Very good. So the resolution is pulled, and we can move on to the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Supervisor Benchkowski, second by Councilmember Pilarski, to approve all items on the consent agenda, including the meeting minutes of April 26, 2022, and resolution items 2022-288 through 310. I need a roll call vote to approve all items on the consent agenda. Councilmember Adamczak?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammer?
Yes.
Councilmember Jazinski.
Yes.
Councilmember Nowak.
Yes.
Councilmember Pilarski.
Yes.
Supervisor Benchkowski.
Yes.
We have 6 yes votes. All items on the consent agenda have been approved. We have no separate resolution items, but I do need a motion and a second to waive the rules to include resolution items 2022-311 and 312. Can I have a motion? Councilmember Pilarski, second. Councilmember Adamczak, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Opposed?
Nope. Sorry. Motion is carried. We have Resolution 2022-311. It is sponsored by Councilmember Pilarski, seconded by Councilmember Hammer. A vacancy exists in the position of member of the Planning Board. Dan Jones has applied for said position. Dan Jones of Depew, New York, being and hereby is appointed to the position of member of the Planning Board for the remainder of the unexpired term, effective immediately and terminating on December 31st, 2024.
Anybody on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Resolution 2022-312 is sponsored by Supervisor Benchkowski, seconded by Councilmember Jazinski. The town of Cheektowaga has been approved for $303,800 in grant funding through the New York State DOT 2018 Pedestrian Safety Action Plan Grant Program. Such funding is allotted for pedestrian safety improvements at signalized intersections and uncontrolled crosswalks. Such treatments shall occur on Erie County right-of-ways. The town board does hereby approve the proposed intermunicipal agreement and authorizes the supervisor to execute the agreement on behalf of the town of Cheektowaga. Resolution shall take effect immediately, but the agreement is contingent upon the approval by the County of Erie and execution of the agreement by the representatives of the County of Erie.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All resolutions are completed. Communications received by the town clerk's office include Traffic Safety Commission meeting minutes of April 19th, 2022, and the supervisor's statement of funds dated December 2021. We also received 2 general communications.
Okay, comments. I do have a comment related to a notice I received in the mail. I was in total shock on Friday, first of all, when I started receiving phone calls from residents saying they were receiving notices that they were being reassessed again. The town just did a town-wide reassessment last year for full market value. I, as the town supervisor, was never told that there was going to be another reassessment this year. Then I started to think, well, maybe it was just certain areas, but I finally received my assessment on yesterday, May 9th. However, these challenges are due May 25th. I'm just totally confused that the board never discussed going forward with a full town-wide reassessment. And I also want to mention my concern is with the hardships upon our seniors and limited income residents facing already shocking increases in prices of gas, food, and unheard of inflation in decades. This is not the time to be doing another reassessment. It is costly for a lot of residents who don't know how to challenge their assessment, and it's also costly for the town. My heart goes out to the residents who can barely make ends meet or who do not know how to challenge their assessment. They have to hire someone. Not to mention that doing another town-wide assessment is time-consuming, stressful, and very expensive, and a waste of taxpayer money. However, I will say that we had a good discussion with our town supervisor at our work session, and hopefully the board can come up with a better plan for next year, but it looks like it's too late for us to do anything this year unless I can do some. All right, so can I just tell you, all right, you are here, you say your words, absolutely, and we will be looking into some other options. So if you want to speak, please sign the sheet, and I'll call you, sir, you have to wait. We still have a council member comments, and I will call you, but we have to have the council members speak first. So go ahead, any council members?
So anybody who wants to speak at the podium, please sign the paper and come on right up.
There's
I
a,
encourage
there's
you.
a table here, so please sign in because I'm going to be grabbing, well, I do actually have one sheet already filled out, so. Any council members?
I just had a question before public comment started. In the event that we have, because our rules say 15 minutes to speak, in the event we have more folks speaking than the 5 and 3 minutes, we can extend the time.
Yes,
I would
make a
motion to extend
motion.
time
Yeah.
as much needed.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. We can do that now, I suppose. You're making the motion. I will second it. Is everybody in
all
favor
in
of
favor.
extending the public comment period? Motion carried. Okay, so the first person we have to speak tonight, please try to keep it down so we can listen to everyone. These are very important comments. Dave User? 3 minutes, though. We have to keep the,
Yeah, I know, Dan. First thing, it's brought to my attention that, I know they're replacing a lot of power lines in the town. It was brought to my attention by some neighbors that nobody ever gets notified. So they actually lost power. So if you're working from home, you got oxygen or something there, and whatever you got, and a lot of people like to turn their computers off before they know there's going to be a power outage, if possible. But no one's ever gets notified, and it was brought to my attention. I'm like, really? So there should be some way that the power company notifies the taxpayers in this town when they're going to be doing, maintenance work, I'll call it. Replacing poles and everything else. And neither there nor there, but here, that's one thing I wanted to say. And the other thing, you're right, on the assessment, I've been to every assessment meeting but one that this town had for the past few years. I've done it in Allegheny County. I've sat with our assessor people. I sat with the county assessor in Allegheny County. It scrambles everybody's egg. It's totally, no person in this room except maybe you and you and you can understand it. Nobody can. We are not accountants in this town, okay? And if the town, and I come to meetings, people know that, you know what? You like hiring attorneys? Let's hire one group for everybody that wants to fight their assessment. This way we only work under one person. Not everybody in this room hiring 50 different attorneys. Let the town pay for its mistakes. We're the taxpayers here. Let the town pay for our legal fees then. Take your money that you're getting right now and pay for our legal fees. That's what I'd like to see this town do. And I know
Very
I still
good.
got a little time, but
no,
there's
you
a
still
whole
have a
room here.
minute, but thank
There's
you,
a whole
Dave.
room.
These are great ideas. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mhm. All right. Okay, can you please? Right. Reverend Rick?
I've been at this podium many times.
Is that on, Reverend Rick? Is that
It's
green?
on.
You got to speak hard.
Oh, I
Let's
can
listen.
speak loud.
Speak loud.
I speak loud. I worked in a plant. I've been at this board meetings many times that I brought this up to you. All right? It's the seniors who are being hurt through this. They're saying that they are going to reassess us at market value. Whose market? This market is way out of line. We got people coming in from other places of the state having bidding wars to come in here because they're used to $500,000 homes. Within the last 2 years, my home was reassessed over $100,000. That is totally ridiculous. And you make it very hard for us seniors to
Yes.
come against this thing. I got to go around, I got to go do this and do that to find out what was your assessment? What was your assessment? Look around these people. They're hand to mouth. We're on fixed income. So what are you going to do? You got to keep on raising it every year because this is what you're talking about, that we got to get reassessed every year. We can't afford that. The seniors can't afford that. We got an 8% raise in our Social Security. Medicare took part of it. What do we got left? You raised our taxes. She raised our taxes 15%, 20%. Mine went up $33,000 in 1 year after a $71,000 the year before. How long is this going to be before these people cannot go buy food? They can't buy gas. Look at the price of gas. Look at everything else. This is the human aspect. Look at these faces. This is the human aspect here. We got to look at the human part. I don't care about your stupid numbers. I don't care about all your other stuff. Well, this is this and this and that. I don't care. look at the human part of it. These people are hurting. Being a minister and being an assistant pastor, I saw people in our church, in our congregations hurting, hand to mouth. What do you do about single parents that are just bought a house? All right? And they have kids. Who's going to support the kids? How are they going to put clothes on? How are they going to feed them? Come on, people. We got to understand something. This is the human aspect. This is who you represent, not the state. The state needs to come down and see what we're doing down here. My understanding is, through the union, that Senator Kennedy put a bill forth that it would freeze taxes on people 65 and over. You know that not one, and I was told this, not one assembly person signed on to that. Who represent us? Okay? What is happening to us down here? We're getting killed. We can't afford it anymore. Thank you.
Sorry, yes. I have to clap for Reverend Rick.
I'd like to piggyback on what Reverend Rick said. The sole purpose of me at this board here, the number one thing I platformed on is for you guys in taxes. That's the number one thing I ran for.
Yeah. No, all right.
I'm outnumbered. I'm outnumbered, folks.
Okay, we got Nick Bresniak. Let Mr. Bresniak speak.
My name is Nick Bresniak.
All right.
I sat in on the first meeting between the assessor, between the board, between the co-chair. Nobody had a clue on what was going on. And somebody dropped the ball, or the board dropped the ball. And I go, everybody's got to suffer for that. At the worst time between the COVID, the gas, the food, the baby formula, now this gets thrown on us. And I go, these people can't take anymore. And you know, people are probably dying because they're staying awake at night thinking about what's going on. We got to figure out ways to do it. Right now, it seems we're supposed to have one team when it comes to Cheektowaga. We got two teams. We got the board and we got the residents. And it's time for some changes. 2023 is the elections. I'm running for election. Whoever's up for election, somebody's sitting in my seat. Thank you.
Wally Carrero? All right. If you want to speak, please sign in. We'll let you speak. We can be here all
My name
night.
is Wally Carriero. I live at 948 Dick Road, Cheektowaga. I've been a resident of the town for over 30 years. I haven't been very active when it comes to attending your meetings. However, I have paid attention. Every year, I get that notice from Maryville that says, hey, 1.5%, 1.5%, 1.5%. And then I get my tax bills. You know what? Let's all pat ourselves on the back. 1.5%, 1.5%. Woohoo! You know what? I'm living the good life. My salary hasn't changed in 3 years. But wait, you have bargaining agreements, right? With your employees. So they're guaranteed that 1.5%. But seniors don't get 1.5%. I don't get 1.5%. There's a lot of people that work here that have jobs at Taco Bell or Aldi's or Wegmans. They don't get 1.5%. But yet every year, everybody does the high five in the town and says, well, hey, you know what? It's only 1.5%, so we're okay. You have fixed cost. Everything you guys do is on state contract or some other form of contract. You don't understand that business people have to fulfill those contracts at those prices while you're sitting here saying, hey, that's okay. Because you know what? Wally can afford $4.39 a gallon gasoline. Wally can afford the high cost of labor where people don't want to leave their homes. How about the senior citizens that would attend this meeting, but they're afraid because COVID has locked them in their home? They can't even come here and speak to you. It's very sad that everybody sits here and says, your taxes are not a product of the assessor's office. They're not. It all comes from the budget. You see, the budget at 1.5% makes my taxes go up. For some reason, always more than 1.5% when there's an assessment involved. I live on a street with no sidewalks. I live on a street that's maintained by the county. I live on a street where the best thing you do for me is pick up my garbage. I don't know what else to expect from you guys, but you know what I do expect? A bill every year that says, congratulations, you have now committed to another 1.5%. We don't care where you get it from, but you better pay it, right? Because all these people in this town need to get their paychecks, which, by the way, have the guaranteed increases of how much? That's right. Let's all vote ourselves some more money. You know what? Tomorrow morning, I'm going to walk in the office and say, I'm going to give myself a raise. I'm going to raise myself right out of business, right? Well, you guys better sit back and look at our economy, look at the costs that people are dealing with today, look at the social and economic impacts in this town, because you guys are voting yourself right out of a job. And to sit here and say, I didn't know anything about this, I was at a work meeting where this conversation about this reassessment took place. And everybody here knew that this was coming down the pipe. Everybody knew, and none of you tried to stop it except for Mike Jasinski. Everybody here said, let it go. In fact, Mr. Kaminsky, who couldn't visit us tonight, said, you should be happy that your house is worth more. Thank you.
Thanks, Wally.
Thank you, Wally.
Wally, I did ask the questions at that meeting. I have a transcript of those. And I told you just now, I never even knew those were going out. The assessor told us she was coming back to the board. She never came back to tell us that. All right. You're welcome to come up here. We will have to discuss it with the assessor. I have to find out why it's too late, okay? Give me a chance. Vicky Leader, Vicky Leader.
I am not a public
All right, Vicky,
speaker.
can you speak, please? Let's listen.
I'm not a public speaker. I don't really
Is
open
that
my
green
mouth.
light on? Because I can't
It's
hear you.
on. Hello? Okay, are we good? She's right. Okay. Would you give me a minute?
Yeah.
I'm here speaking for the working poor. I am in that group. I've been a nurse my whole life, worked since I was 14 years old. I've been a resident for 50 years, my whole life. My husband is a veteran.
Anthony, are you
If
there?
you'd
Can
be
you turn
quiet,
it up,
you can't
please?
hear.
Wait, I didn't know. There's volume on there. Anthony, can you turn that up? Okay. Not mine.
Thank you. My police, I love them. I've been a nurse, holy shit.
Yeah.
My whole life, I've lived here. I've been a nurse for 25 years, an LPN, so I'm on the bottom of the chain. My husband's a veteran. We bought our house for $59,900. We were so proud 20 years ago. Now its estimated value is $179,000. My mortgage went up $250. We live week to week. I have progressive MS. I can't work. So now I make $1,080 on Social Security. My husband makes $18 an hour because nobody would hire a 55-year-old man. What are we supposed to do? I just paid $14,000 for a sewer pipe. That was my stipend to fix my roof. Nobody's ever walked through my house, asked me to walk through my house. I'd be more than welcome to let them walk through my house. We keep our yard up, we do our due diligence, we do whatever we need to do. I look to see exemptions. What help is there for us now? $32,000 is the household income to get help. I'm 50 years old. I'm not a senior. I'm not a child. I fall in that crack. So I don't get anything. So I'm here to fight for the people who are in my group. And I know there's more out there. I watch YouTube. I watch these meetings on YouTube when I can't walk. I'm here now. So we're asking for help. And that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Vicki. Okay, I can't read this name. Is it Mary from 37? Mary Jane.
You know me.
Oh, okay, Mary Jane, all right.
You know
Yes.
me.
Okay, I have tried to help Mary Jane fight her assessment at times.
I want to
So,
appreciate
go
what
ahead.
you said tonight. Okay, but I want to read a letter that I wrote to the Elaine Buckley tonight on Facebook. And this is going to be redundant to everybody's problem tonight. Dear lady, I watched with illness tonight on the ultraness of the town of Cheektowaga once again raising assessments. I wish I could meet with you Wednesday and share the horridness of this action. I have fought several decades, and it's egg on the faces of town of Cheektowaga. First, this is what I appeal every year. Rat problem in town of Cheektowaga is horrific. There are hundreds of pedophiles between Union and Cleveland Drive, way going past Town Hall. Cheektowaga has been assessed in the past by assessors who do not live in New York. The Airport Plaza is not an upcoming boom plaza, but a very fast deteriorated venue. Many absentee landlords have recently been published as zombie homes. 8 Virginia Road is up for foreclosure, its cellar collapsed, and leads southerly. 4864 Union South Grass is high, and you can smell a bad odor and a trail of rats leading within the neighborhood, endangering children and pets. Also, absentee scam landlords. The area I live in is deemed war barracks, made in the 1940s. And then before the war ended, Mr. Geiger came and converted these into duplexes. The Nob Hill Quarry behind Union and Cleveland Drive has never been cleaned from the soldiers' ashes of 1812, in which their desecrated, diseased bodies flow south to this quarry. The inadequate sewer systems of 1940 flow east to this quarry. The number of people living in this quad have MS. Besides all this, before the airplane route got redirected to south of Sandra Drive, and before that, all plain oils and dumps were over our houses. As a kid, I swam in oil-based water. Not to say how that debris caused structural damage to our homes. Each time the assessor raises $20,000 to our struggling budget, there is always an officer of structure doing wrong, and we pay for their penance. Did you know after the grievance meeting, you can pay the judge $30 fee and your assessment gets lowered? Please, you need to get my voice out there to help speak for people who lose this fight. In 5 years, my assessment went from $86,000 to $110,000 to almost $150,000, back to $120,000, now to $130,000. Please see that this gets addressed. I've had many meetings with town and Cheektowaga officiate. This is a ridiculous game each year of uncontrolled, short notice assessments. I can be reached at so-and-so. Thank you for having the courage to fight for truths, heartfelt appreciation, me. And you know I come every year.
You do, Mary.
Every year, I give you enough information, and at the end of that, I get a one line saying I've given insufficient data references, which you know is not true.
Yeah.
You have compared my house to houses that were built in the 1950s. I'm in a war house. I'm on a small budget. This is getting me sick. I'm 70 years old. I'm going to represent the people. And I think this assessment, something should be done tonight. And don't go saying that we can't control it for this year. That's bullcrap. Okay, but you know me, I've come here, I've fought every year. I think this is ridiculous. I am a single person, senior citizen, lived here all my life. If you want to clean up anything, spend some money, clean up on it so that one lady over there doesn't have MS. My neighbors don't have MS because of the stupid quarry that doesn't get cleaned up. This is a ridiculous assessment.
I agree with you, Mary Jane.
And we need to have it stopped tonight. You have to cap it. Remember a couple years ago when I came to you and I said
Oh, it
you
didn't
had
go
somebody
off.
from
Your time is up.
Texas?
I don't know why it didn't go off.
Well,
but-
anyway, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, Mary Jane. I agree with you. Okay, we have Mark Farrell.
Mark Farrell. In the last year, I fought an assessment on my home that went up drastically. And I was kind enough to get a knockdown in price. And we come around to this week and get another notice in the mail. Now my property is going up $20,000 more. After I just fought something a year ago, now I have to, one, hire a lawyer. I'm a senior citizen. I live on income that is not as generous as your assessors are, who's never been in my home, who's never seen my home, who's never seen the leak on my porch. Yeah, my house is comparable to these houses because I have X amount of square feet, X amount of bathrooms. My house is over 80 years old. How can it be compared to a house that was built in the 80s? That house ain't even anywhere close. I'm tired of people saying to me, I didn't know. All due diligence aside, if I'm a supervisor, I choose to know. I ran to know. I ran to know, and I back up my actions by saying I was totally surprised with it. Again.
It's the truth, sir.
No, I'm not trying to attack Diane. I'm really
Okay,
not.
it's the truth.
I'm just saying that it's beyond my scope that I worked my entire life being told what to do and what was expected of me. These people are telling you what to do and what's expected of
But
you.
I have a board of
You have a
seven.
board.
I
You
can't
have
do it
people that
alone.
probably disagree with you on that
They
board.
do. They totally do, and I think
What I
was
don't
kept out of-
understand
in the
is
dark.
why we can't turn this around and say, this is unfair to the public. It's just, boom, it's unfair to the public to readdress this in a year where our money has been going out the window paying for illegals that shouldn't be here. Paying for services that they get, but I can't get. I can't get an increase to my star. I can't get an increase to my Social Securities, but we're saying, hey, come on down. We'll give you a free abortion. And I'm paying for it, and I disagree with it. I disagree that strongly with this assessment. It is totally unjust to everybody sitting in this room.
Totally. I
It
agree.
should have never been pushed through, and I vote that we've put forth a propaganda or a vote or whatever to stop it. Let's reevaluate it before we enforce it. I motion to put before this board an open vote to say no to this assessment right now.
Okay, your time is up. Thank you. I don't know why this isn't ringing. Deborah, 29 Lordan. Okay. All right. Can we please let the public comment period end so then we can talk about it, all right? I don't know. Let me. Okay. So do you want me to cut the public comment period off right now? Okay. I just have to, I need a minute to write the wordage for it, so can we just continue on and I will write the wordage? Are you? Well, would you second it, Mike Jazinski? Put a motion together to end the reassessment.
I'll second Diane on calling an end to this assessment.
I gotta write the language.
You'll get my vote next time.
No, we didn't yet. Hold on, I gotta write the language, please. We gotta do this right for it to be official.
Just so everybody understands how a board works, guys, is that the majority wins the vote. Remember, I'm the minority.
So let me write the language and then we'll take a vote.
So I can sit down then?
No, you can go ahead. I have you at 3 minutes.
Okay.
A question for the parliamentarian.
Why? It's under new business. To end the reassessment. We can do it after the public comment period. Why not? What holds us back from doing it? I'm not doing that now. If there's something illegal. I'm not doing it. See? Ma'am, did you want to go ahead while
Okay,
I'm...
well, I was just being polite. I moved here 3 years ago from North Buffalo. I chose Cheektowaga. Cheektowaga didn't choose me. I am very disappointed. The first year that I had my home, I had to refinance my home because I'm on Social Security disability. I am now 64 years old. I'm on a fixed income. I do not take heat. I do not have food stamps. I do not have welfare. I take care of my own, myself. And I was so disappointed I had to go to my bank and ask for a refinance because why? My assessment went up and I couldn't afford my mortgage. My mortgage was $1,092 when I first came. Then it went up to $1,500. I had to refinance it. Refinance. Look at these people. I'm not only talking here for myself. Look at these people, 55 and over. Maybe some, and please, if you're less than that, I'm not offending anybody. How are we going to afford it? I worked 3 jobs. I carried a family. I had a big home in North Buffalo. I got a divorce. I sold that home. I owed 3 mortgages on that home because my husband was abusive. And this is what I was so proud of because I came here, I had my home. If you put through this assessment, I'm about to lose my home. Look at, we have police officers, we have nurses, we have construction workers. Look at these faces. Look at what they're telling you. And you know what? I was an insurance broker. I knew the law, and I knew what I was told. You tell them. You knew nothing about it. You know what's really illegal about this letter that I got? No date on it. I got this Saturday. You got yours yesterday.
I just got mine yesterday.
You know
Surprise.
what? Michael, when did you know about the assessment? Be honest, Michael.
I didn't know about it.
We didn't.
And that's my committee.
He did not know.
And you know what? Under New York State insurance brokers, we have to know something because of the budget, because of the law and the articles. My opinion is you guys are sticking up for each other. I can't help it.
I stick up for the people.
The motion is you better do something for the people because the people are going to rule you out and no paychecks for you.
Okay, the next speaker is Diane Zell.
Hello.
Make sure you speak into the microphone.
Hello. I have lived in my house for 45 years. And now, because some people in my neighborhood decide to spend a lot of money on a house, my taxes are going to go up astronomically. They went up last year because you reassess. You always come to my area. You always come to that Croydon Drive area. Right? So I have a suggestion. If the town needs money, which I believe that this is what this assessment's all about, raise our taxes for the town. When you reassess us, you raise our school taxes, you raise our Erie County taxes. My school tax now will go up, based on this new assessment, over $650. And they went up last year, $350 because of the reassessment. I wish you all would look at me while I'm talking, because I think that there's a group here who doesn't care, who doesn't care. I've 45 years in the same house. I've kept it up. I've improved it. But why am I now suddenly, it's my share to pay because somebody else decided to pay X amount of dollars for a house in some area around me? I'm retired now. As everyone has mentioned, they don't increase our Social Security because the town of Cheektowaga decided to raise our assessments. And the other thing is, this is a Cheektowaga thing. I know everyone's talking Democrat, Republican, the state, everything. No, because the town of Tonawanda, where I have family that lives, they don't reassess their constituents every year or every 4 years. Neither does Lancaster or Williamsville or Orchard Park. This is a Cheektowaga thing. This is a Cheektowaga thing, and it needs to stop. It's like the mafia. You need to stop extorting us. Stop extorting us. And that's all I have. I hope you're listening. This assessment cannot go through. You're telling people my age who've lived here for 45 years, I'm 68 years old, that we're going to tax you out of your neighborhood and your house, where your kids lived and where you went to school. They went to school, but you can no longer afford to stay in that house because you made it a nice house. So now you're out. We're going to tax you out. So really, this can't go through for this year.
I agree, Diane.
Diane, you know.
I do, and you're,
Our
I know
kids
you have
went
the
to
knowledge.
school together
Yes.
at Depew High School, and it's a wonderful neighborhood that I lived in, and you're taxing people out of it. It's truly like the mafia. It truly, truly is. Yes, because we have no say. We have no say. And I know that they are all saying we're going to vote you out, but that unfortunately doesn't happen.
It never does.
It never does. They
No.
come back in and they know they will. So this is not stay on topic. This is a Cheektowaga
Okay.
town thing. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane. The timer. Are you ready? Should I put it forward? I have the resolution ready. Yes. Mhm. Okay, so I am going to make a motion tonight, and do I have a second? Councilmember Jazinski. Whereas this town board listened to comments from residents tonight, May 10th, 2022, about the hardships that they will experience if the 2022 full market reassessment moves forward. Resolved, that this town board hereby directs the town assessor to immediately halt the reassessment this year, effective immediately. Okay.
I second that.
Michael seconded. Anybody on the question?
On the question, it's been mentioned several times that the town board, or members of the board, didn't know what was going on. 2014-50 is the resolution that set this 100% reassessment rate back in 2014. In 2019, we had several votes relating to assessments. This is before Mr. Jasinski joined us on the board. In 2020, we had a resolution 2020-176 that was passed unanimously, where the town board moved to stop an assessment process. Then we had resolution 2020-274. That was a resolution to settle litigation that resulted from repeated votes of starting and stopping assessments. And this is the litigation. And this year, we talk about we didn't know what was going to happen. We agreed to a several-year plan dealing with assessments. Then the town board votes 6-1 on resolution 2022-79 that hired GAR, the contractor, that looked at all the property values. We had a sense that those were going to be looked at. Then 2022-146 is passed. The board knew that we were going to maintain 100% assessment rates. Because of 2020-274, I make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss the impact of something like this happening again prior to taking a public vote.
I vote no, that we talk in front of the
That's not a
town
reason
for
to
total
go-
transparency.
Yeah, that's not a reason to go into executive session. Are you kidding me?
I voted no for
That's
this
not a reason to
assessment.
go into an executive session. But that's not attorney-client privileges outside executive
Madam
session.
Supervisor.
Yes.
I'd like to know who in this crowd would know what that verbiage says on that
Well, I need
docket.
to
If
address
anybody could read that, I'll hire you as my lawyer.
Councilman, I struggle with the language in there.
The town attorney has something to say.
Our rules of order do not allow for a resolution to be put in at this juncture of the meeting.
Yeah.
All resolutions and other items of business must be filed in writing with the town clerk no later than noon of each Thursday preceding the regular town board meetings, which are to be held the first and third Mondays
Well,
of
we
the
don't
month.
even do that, though, John.
So I'd just be remiss, Madam Supervisor, if I didn't mention this, that the process of bringing this resolution to the forefront right now is, in my opinion, improper.
There have been other resolutions brought in at the last minute when it's not been submitted ahead of time. And,
Let's do a roll call vote on this.
Well,
For all the people in this room.
Madam Supervisor,
yes.
in addition, as you know, Governor Hochul did come up with a new 24-hour requirement to have all
Yep.
resolutions or all public business to be notified 24 hours prior to any meeting. So I'm just bringing that to your attention.
Yes, thank you, but-
I defer
It
to the
also
board.
states when necessary, if you can do it when necessary. We had 2 items just go under waivers today. That did not follow that.
So do we know the legal consequences either direction of, let's say it passes, we all vote yes, let's stop the assessments, but it's already been filed with the state. What are the consequences of that? Or what are the consequences, we all vote yes, it's filed with the state and we can't do anything, and now the residents have a class action lawsuit against the town in regard to that because we're not following through with their, either way,
You're
what are the
putting-
consequences?
Answer to your residents.
Either way, they'd be paying for these lawsuits either direction. So that's why there's no information there to say what are the consequences if we were to go with this.
How can you tell them what my assessment's gonna be before I even file the
All
paperwork?
right.
Because I just got notified on Monday.
All right, I do have to call order because you had your time, Molly, okay? So I have a resolution here. Michael Jasinski seconded it. I know the council member asked to go into executive session. However, the reason you gave isn't correct. There's no reason for that.
If the parliamentarian says it's not a legitimate reason, fair enough.
Okay. Anybody else on the question? All in favor?
On the question, we have to, as a board, we need to discuss the legal consequences of what we're about to do here. We have no information right now to make an educated
Should the people know the legal
decision on
consequences?
the legal
They're here.
consequences.
They want to know now. Let's
I
resolve
motion to
it.
table. I motion to table the resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
Can you say that louder, please, Mr. Pilarski,
I
Councilmember?
absolutely will second, and we are shooting from the hip right here that could backfire either
There you
direction with
go.
class action lawsuits. So
This is
yes,
what
put it on
happens.
record, Supervisor, that I'm tabling it also.
Wait a minute, Linda, did you have some, Councilmember Hammer, did you have some, could you?
I did, because you know just as much as everybody else on this board does, and you're making it sound like you're the savior. You know what? We have to do things here legally. We can't just play games
You
between
can put a
you and
motion in.
Jasinski. For what?
Didn't you hear what I just said? The people want a motion to stop this reassessment.
And I said, no, we
Okay.
have to do things legally. I said we need to do it legally. We need to speak with the attorney and to see if we can stop a vote or stop the reassessment at this point, because it's already been filed with the state.
Get Jill back on there! Get Jill back on there! Ask her!
Yeah. It's, all right, so we, unfortunately, just so you know, we had a motion to table by Councilmember Nowak and a motion by Councilmember Pilarski to table the resolution tonight. No, I'm, oh, wait a minute. No, he can table it. We can, I asked for a vote, and they asked it for it to be tabled. So you can take, at the next meeting, which is May 24th. Mhm. Yeah. Yes. So let me continue with the comment period. No, sir, you have to sign. Can you give me that sheet then when you're done? No, you have to sign the sheet. It's not a free-for-all. I got to keep order of the meeting. You saw what happened, I explained. I put the resolution in, Michael seconded it, Councilmember Nowak tabled it, and Councilmember Pilarski seconded the table. So we're back. I have that sheet, and maybe we'll switch out. Sergeant, then, do you want to switch these, and I'll let you have this one back over there. Thank you for doing that. Well, no, just leave it there, because if somebody, and give me the new sheet. Thank you very much. Okay, we have more speakers.
I,
All right. Sir, you're out of order. I have to bring order to this meeting, sir. I'm sorry. We have to bring order and let everybody have a chance. Mhm. Okay, so hold on. The attorney is telling me I have to reopen the public comment period, which we never vote on before. So I will make the motion to reopen the public comment period. Could I have a second? Councilmember Nowak, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Lisa from 25 Barrymore. Lisa, 25 Barrymore. There you are. Go ahead, Lisa.
Hi, I came to bring up a topic that's totally unrelated
Can
to
you
the...
speak closer in that?
Oh, okay.
Is the green light on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
To talk about a topic that's totally unrelated to assessments, reassessments. I live at 25 Barrymore in the town, and where I live, my side of my house and the back of my property butts up to the Harlem Road exit ramp to the 33, and we need more lighting. I feel like I need more lighting there, that it's unsafe, that people gather in that end of that alley street, and they get up to no good at all. And I can't tell you what garbage I've picked up in that part of the alley. Wrappers, cups, fast food wrappers, cigars, cigarette packs, things I won't even describe, and I'm going to leave it to your imagination of the other stuff that I've picked up there. I live alone. I'm an older person living alone. And I just feel like maybe a street light.
We got our town engineer, he's making a note of it.
Okay, a street light or a motion street light right on the Westbrook and Barrymore junction would be really helpful. And the person who lives across the alley from me is also a single woman living by herself. And the gas company did put in some gas green kind of housing units there on her property. So if there's reckless smoking or something that would go on in that section of the street where nobody should be anyway, not at night, because like I said, they're getting up to no good at all. It could be a hazard. It's not leaking gas, but it just seems unsafe, and it just needs to have more lighting. There is, I hope you might study that. There is a light on the next block up, which would be Woodridge and Westbrook, that faces the alley. So there is a light there that gives more light. So thank you very much for considering.
All right, we got it. Thanks, Lori. Lisa, I'm sorry. Okay, next speaker, Greg Stang.
So yesterday afternoon, I received a call from my mom and dad. They were upset by their assessment. Well, last year I got a call and I said I'd look into challenging it. I got busy. I didn't do it, so I felt I should do something. I spent 3 hours online last night. The site is not user-friendly. The site is not user-friendly. It is very difficult to use. So then I went to the assessor's office today. I had to wait in line because there's only one booklet.
Oh.
All these people, if they want to challenge their assessment, they're probably going to need more than one booklet.
Does it say any place else to go for this booklet?
No, and I mean, the staff was very friendly, but they said people stole them, that's all there is. There's no seats, it's dimly lit. It's, from the outside, it would appear that you don't want anybody to challenge your assessment. I've challenged assessments before, I've been successful, it is very difficult. There's a booklet of sales. I asked, is there a PDF that I could get emailed? No. So, all these people are right in their, complaints, and then furthermore, it is very difficult to challenge it. You shouldn't have to hire a lawyer. Again,
I agree.
and it's something I should be able to do in 6 to 8 hours, not 40. So you may not value my money, and now you're not valuing my time. So, but I believe my complaints you can do something about, I would hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stang. I might suggest that you see if you can fill out a Freedom of Information form at the clerk's office, or that's online also, and get that information to you within 5 days. I know. Well, I know I agree. That should have gone out sooner. Anthony from 75 Headley.
Hello, my name is Anthony.
Can you speak? Is that green light on?
Yeah, it's on. You
All
would
right.
get better. So I come from a pretty poor family. I've been working since I was 8 years old. I have 2 kids, 3 rescue dogs. I volunteer my time for elderly and veterans all the time. And I finally got a house in 2019. Every year since, my taxes have gone up. So everything that I've been working so hard for is becoming further and further out of reach. And I have to look at my children and tell them, you know, we can't get this or we can't do that because I have to pay more and more each month in my mortgage. I don't know what else to do. I work about 80 hours a week on top of that. I am a general contractor. I have my own business, and I work for a company full time. The more that this keeps going up is the further and further it pushes me and my family back and back. I can't work anymore. My fiance works as much as she can as well, on top of all the children's activities. As everybody knows that has kids, there's 5,000 of them. So these assessments is crazy. My house was worth $79,000. Now my house is at $132. I just got the thing in the mail for. It's not, okay? And as being a general contractor, I know it's not, okay? My house is worth, I would give you maybe $100,000 at the most because of some of the things I had to do, but my house is definitely not worth $132,000. And with the money going up every single year, it's insanity. So it has to stop, and I don't know what I got to do or where I got to go, but at this point in time, I'm tired of getting kicked and kicked and kicked and kicked. I didn't buy a house so I can get kicked every year more and more and more. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is it the name Leanne or Rianne from Creekview Drive? Sorry, Roanne.
Hello, I'm Roanne French. I just moved to Creekview Drive about 6 years ago, in 2017, 5 years ago. I was homeless, disabled veteran of the Marine Corps, 8 years, and I picked Cheektowaga because it was beautiful. I loved it. I have a serious problem with the assessments that you guys are doing. You aren't even notifying us that this is pending. Hey, look out for this. Come participate in our meeting. There's no transparency. We get the letter, and it says your taxes are going up, and that's all she wrote. There's not even a date. I got mine yesterday. Last year was 48.5. This year it's 30. It's like, where is it? School taxes are going up. My kids go to Maryville. I have one in preschool and the others just graduated in 2020. But where is the communication? Where is the information so that we can help pick who assesses us? Where is that transparency? It doesn't exist. It's a backdoor deal. There are kickbacks going back or whatever because there's no communication between the board and their constituents. Where's that information? How do we get it? How do we participate?
Well, our YouTube meetings, of course, they're always on YouTube, every meeting. Okay? And
why isn't there a letter going out reminding us that we have a monthly meeting coming up?
Well,
why don't you guys come to see it?
But we have it on our website all the time, if we had to send a letter out. But
it's expensive to send the letters that our taxes are going up, but yet those
yes,
come.
I agree. I totally agree. But to send a letter every meeting, we have 2 a month.
So I want you to take a really good look at me. I'm 44 years old. Everybody else in this room is a lot older than me. They have lived here for decades. I plan on living here for decades. I plan on raising my kids and leaving my house to my children and making Cheektowaga my permanent home. These people are going to pass away, and you're going to have to deal with me. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude, but it is clear. It's clear to me as a younger adult or, you know, a mature adult or whatever, that the logic of what you are doing is hack up the prices, get when they're gone, this is what we're worth, this is where it is, turn around, fix it up, sell it for that, and you get your money back. And it's not money that's coming to us. It's money that's going to your assessor, to
town
the
is up,
board.
Yeah. Your time is up.
Okay. Well, thank you.
But I will tell you this, is our meetings are all on, and past meetings are on our Town of Cheektowaga YouTube channel. There's a work session and a regular meeting on the same night.
Trust me, I will be involved.
So start looking at them, and you know what? I'll tell you where to start. It was the February 8th town board, or work session. 3 minutes into it, we started the discussion. I was asking questions, and I was told they wanted to change, just amend the contractor. And all they kept saying is, all we want to do is amend the contractor, you'll see me asking all these
You
questions.
should have this kind of turnout when you are selecting a contractor.
And we should, absolutely. But the assessor kept telling me, look, this isn't about reassessing, we will get back to you.
And yet, here we are.
And then, that's when that notice went out, and that's why I got mad, because I didn't know. I was waiting for them to come back to me, and she got annoyed. You'll hear it on there, with me asking these questions.
Yeah, because it's money in their pocket, right? It's money coming out, you're wringing us dry.
The money's out of our pocket to keep doing these reassessments that are uncalled for. It's a waste of town taxpayer money, as far as I'm concerned. So you're
Yeah.
right on, Roanne. You're right on.
Thank you.
So I'll talk to you later if you need me. Yeah, exactly. It's your money, absolutely. Ed, all right, Dan. Denise Drews, 100 Gerard. Is that you, Denise? Hi.
I mean, everybody, we're all saying the same thing. I don't know how you didn't know that this is going to happen.
I understand.
And the only thing is, like last year, I believe we had to do on the phone kind of assessments. I had to fight 50 grand at that time. They lowered it to 25. Today's letters, the other 25. So they just made up for it. So I hope you could do something. I understand your position about we have to wait, we can't do a motion, that kind of stuff. Can you please let us know that you're going to look into this, that we could come back here and find out that
Well, it's going to be
this
the
is
night
gonna happen?
before the, yeah, I could. I'll call a special
an
meeting.
emergency, that would be
So
great.
Let's
I
hopefully
dig
we
you.
can-
I like the way you act right now. I should start coming to more meetings, but unfortunately, my husband and I are probably going to be leaving this area. Brian, you used to do a lot. I follow your Facebook, but it sounds like you're falling into other ways.
No, not really.
All right, thanks, Denise. Okay, but next is Ed from Union Road. Ed,
I don't want to repeat everything everybody's been saying.
well, talk into the microphone.
I don't want to
Talk loud so we can all hear
I don't
you.
want to repeat everything everybody's been saying. Everybody gets it. All you know that this was going to be an angry meeting, okay? Where did you guys think you were coming to? Nobody's got any answers. You didn't know. You're the head of this.
I did
You're,
have
you're
answers,
saying,
but what
you're
happened?
saying that she did know. What the hell's going on here? Yeah, it's right. So what's going on? Now you're going to give a resolution on the 24th, the day before this crap is due. What are we supposed to do about that? How do we fight that? The 24th, you're going to come out and say, oh, hey, guys, it didn't pass. Pay your taxes. What's the deal?
I made the motion. You saw who made the
I
motion.
know you made the motion, but
And
now...
you saw who tabled
But
it.
you're coming back on the 24th to tell us what's going to happen?
Those are the rules, though.
This is
Even if I
bullshit.
call the special meeting.
This is craziness. This is crazy.
As you know, they tried to stop the resolution.
Excuse me, can I have a minute?
Yes.
I fought my taxes last year, okay? Just like everybody else here. They wanted my house valued at $230,000. I live on Union in Cleveland. Give me a break, okay? So they lowered it. Oh, we're going to do you a favor. We cut it down to 180. Now they come back this year. You're raising it 32,000. I mean, give me a break. So you're going to come back next year and say, hey guys, we need a little more jing in our pocket. We're going to raise you another 20 grand. When does this stop? When does this stop? How come the other municipalities aren't doing this? Why are you guys doing this?
At the work session, if I can add a little bit to that, Councilman Jazinski and I were talking about cyclical assessments and spacing these out a little bit further. I think we found some common ground there. It's something we got to talk about going forward. But we've got a state deadline of May 25th,
Yeah.
that's a factor in this whole formula.
You
know,
have
it's
to
not the town's
foil,
deadline.
you have to foil the information to the assessor. You gotta tell her where you write your letters to the state, because I can't do it without you guys writing your
But you spring
letters.
this on us on today and the 25th, and now
I
you
know.
know, this is just absurd.
This is absurd.
This is.
Totally. I agree with you,
Thank
Ed.
you.
The board could have voted on that resolution tonight. I'm not sure what this name is. It looks like on Harlem, 1422 Harlem. Jackie. Okay, Jackie.
The town's attorney is here, correct?
Yes,
How did he not know about this?
I don't know. It's a.
How did you not know about this?
Jackie, wait, you have to direct to the board. Yeah. No, he works for the board. You can't ask him directly. I'm sorry. You can ask the board.
Okay, to the board, when did you know? When did you all find out that we were gonna get an
All
assessment
right, well, let's
like
go
this?
down. How did you know? I didn't know till yesterday, or Friday.
I said earlier, there were two resolutions that were voted on by this board earlier in the year. The first resolution, which it was everyone with the exception of the supervisor that voted for the contractor to collect data. We knew data was going to be collected at that time.
Okay.
Then there was a the resolution, the data would be the change in property values and market property values. And that was the vote for GAR. Everybody but the supervisor voted on that one. Then there was the vote to maintain 100%, and the board passed that as well. So we knew that it was going to be maintained. In terms of when notices went out, we didn't know exactly who was going to get notices, whether it was some or all. And we learned about that.
When did you learn about it? When did you learn that it was going
Yeah,
to be all?
You're right. The assessor did not let us know, so we will have to deal with that.
I found out
So-
yesterday at 10:30 in the morning.
So how can you expect us to be fine with this?
No, he's doing something else. He just advises the board. Ma'am, you can sign the sheet, okay? So you still have 1 minute.
So who's going to help us in our town to stop this?
Well, I put the resolution, you saw Michael Jazinski seconded it, but they tabled it, so
So you're not going to help,
yes, I want your help, of course I do.
but you're letting them tie your hands.
There's
Why
a,
is
there's
our
a,
su- I hate to
there's
do
a,
this.
there's a government process I have to follow, ma'am, I'm
I
sorry.
hate to do this, because I know that you're not for this, but why didn't you know?
I gotta get to the
The
bottom of it,
reason for that is
absolutely.
poor communication on this board and poor leadership. That's why.
You're all,
I beg to
Is
differ.
that towards me, Brian?
I asked you.
The poor communication, my assessment went up 113% last year.
Mine went up too,
So,
but I asked you,
Right.
point blank, when did you find out about this? When did you get a letter?
I addressed it already.
No,
Okay.
He said 10:30 yesterday. When did you know? So you knew last week? No, when did you know that we were going to get reassessed?
It's not the lack of leadership, it's the lack of transparency.
Yes, thank you.
But you still didn't answer me. When did you know? When notices went out. So you didn't have, you had no
Oh,
prior
I gotta get the
knowledge.
other,
You had no
Sergeant, can you
prior
switch these
knowledge
out
that
for me?
This was going to happen.
I think, yeah, thank you very
But
much for
you knew
doing
that we
that.
were all going to get assessed again.
Okay, our next speaker is Carol Kirsting.
First thing I want to say,
Can you talk, is the green
it's
light
on. You need a new mic.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yes.
All right. get your house in order. Your communication is pathetic. That half of this board knows what's going on, the other half does not. That your assessor is sitting in there doing whatever the hell he wants to do. Clean your house. Clean your house. Shush, I'm talking. All right. You put a motion forward to
Yes.
stop the assessment.
Immediately.
Then another motion was put forward to not stop it because of, you have to look into the legalities. Let's change the verbiage and have a third motion. Let's pause the assessment pending examining the legalities of the situation.
I second that.
All right. Where is the board?
Is there a second? Third?
Yeah,
Anybody?
he'll
Why?
know. Yeah.
Why, Linda?
You made the motion. It wasn't anyone up here that made the motion.
So it only needs to be second?
You can't
course.
make a motion.
I'm not making the motion, I suggested.
You suggested it, he said, I second it.
So is it done deal? Well, then how do we make it a done deal?
Well, he'll make the motion, I'll second it, to,
I make the motion to what she said.
that this town,
Yes.
I'll read it.
Your lack of compassion and arrogance is abhorrent.
All right, so I got this motion put together, Michael. So you're making the motion, I'm seconding it. Whereas this town board listened to public comment periods from residents tonight, May 10th, 2022, about the hardships they will experience if the 2022 full market reassessment moves forward. Be it resolved that this town board hereby directs the town supervisor to halt the reassessment process until an opinion from the town attorney.
So halting, pausing, freezing, not moving forward, we don't know those answers right now because it's already filed with the state. The responsible thing from this board to do would be, how soon can we schedule the next meeting, not May 24th, and say, come back here, discuss this to find out what all the legalities are, because we have to give a public announcement that we have, 24 hours, 36 hours, whatever.
Yes.
Schedule that meeting right now, giving the proper notice for it, and let's revisit it and find out, instead of shooting from the hip and being irresponsible and causing a class action lawsuit one way or the other.
Well, we should put a halt on it. You can
We
do
can't
that.
vote to put a halt on anything. It's already gone to the
It
state, the
doesn't
tax
matter.
law.
Brian,
people
we
have
have home
spoken.
rule here.
So put-
Listen, we have home rule.
Okay,
All
putting
right?
a halt
This
to
town board
the,
has home rule. So if we
Yeah.
want to put a halt to an assessment, we can do that. You
so
know
what
that.
you're doing is setting up the taxpayers for failure. If we put a halt to the grievance and they miss the deadline of May 25th because we make the wrong choice up here because we legally cannot do it. There's a state timeline that we have to follow, and we should follow and look into to see if we could back up a little bit and backpedal on it and fix it.
And that's what this says, halt to,
It's not a halt. We can't make that call right now. We got to find out if we can make that call. So I propose we look, how soon can we make a meeting, the next meeting? Sooner than that.
Hey, I'm working next week.
it's, I believe it's 48 hours, isn't it? 48. All right. Wait, Kim, you must know. How, if we call a special meeting? How, do you need 2 days for me to? Yes. How long? So we could have another meeting on Thursday. We have to publicly put it in, so, can we do this on Thursday or Friday? That's what I mean. Can you speak in the microphone, please? So we want to call a special meeting. This will be the notice right here. We're on YouTube, we're on the TV channels. I believe we can do it Thursday, if we're giving notice now to the public. What time, the soonest you could do it? Yeah. I can do it anytime. So what time, is it? All right. Special meeting. I'm using the phone as the timer. Yeah. Oh.
To your right.
Yeah, I'm putting the date in my phone for the special meeting.
We're trying to,
If you were listening.
wait, we have to just check what the rules are. Just give me a minute.
Thursday at 6 o'clock, who seconds it?
This Thursday, the 12th at 6 o'clock, there's going to be a special meeting.
Thank you, Liz Lewin.
It doesn't have it in this.
Will the assessor be here?
All right. Mhm. Hmm. This isn't- Absolutely, it will be. Yes, I will give you the time and day. We just have to make sure
So-
we're within the guidelines of the time.
So if the guidelines say it's got to be 48-hour notice, that would bring us at 9 or 8:30
It
PM on
might say
Thursday.
2 days, 2 days.
Invite the assessor.
I will. 2 days' notice. So, no, it says days. So if we're Tuesday, we can have one on Thursday at 6 o'clock. So I hereby, as the town supervisor, am giving notification of a special meeting on Thursday, what's the date? The 12th, February 12th, at 6 o'clock. I'm sorry, May 12th, 6 o'clock here at Town Hall. It will be an open meeting.
Now, is that meeting also pending if we could legally take action? I mean, if we legally can't take any action.
Yes,
and
you
it- and it-
can at any special meeting.
No, I'm saying if we could legally fix or relook at this, I'm saying if the state says, look, you can't, it's already filed, it's a done deal, there's no need for a meeting, correct?
No, but I think they want to meet.
And that's fine, that's absolutely, we will communicate that, that's totally
Yes.
fine.
So I think that's the best way to handle it, is give us 2 days to look into it. We will get the assessor here, so you can ask questions, and we'll have a better idea to make sure we're legally doing this. So it's Thursday at 6 o'clock, right here in the same spot at Town Hall. We'll also be on YouTube, so if you can't be here, you can call the town clerk, and she will allow you to speak from your home to get on the Zoom call. Yes. I don't know, ma'am. I'm sorry. We're going to find some of that out, so. I gotta work on the meeting, so, is there anybody else that is adamant about speaking tonight? You want to speak? Who's next? And I have, that was Carol, so Andrea? Andrea? I'm still on this sheet. Andrea, are you still here? No. Yes? Okay.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Can you speak in, make sure the green light is on? Okay.
I'm going to use my full 3 minutes, so I'm going to ask that if you have any questions, you hold it to the end. Why doesn't the town board know what's happening in our town? You are the elected leaders of this town. If the residents cannot depend on a board and councilmen to represent us appropriately, us residents must take the responsibility to push change in those seats, every single one of your seats, except for Brian and Jasinski, because you were just reelected. But every other one of you, you're all up. Everybody please know their names, know what they're voting on. If it's not something you want to vote for, take it to the ballot. I've literally witnessed some of your uncles and fathers on the same board, and nothing has changed in this town. I've lived in this town 35 years. I'm a level 1 trauma nurse. I take care of some of the sickest people in this town. I've bought a house in this town 5 years ago. It was assessed when I bought it. It was assessed last year and went up 25 grand. It was assessed this year and went up 28 grand. How do I get assessed 3 times? 3 times in 5 years. If I lived anywhere else in Erie County or the surrounding counties, I would not be assessed that many times. I may be assessed once when I bought my home. That's ignorant and unacceptable. By every single one of you, you are failing me. You are failing my children, and you are failing everybody behind me. The fact that all of you are on this board, when I've seen uncles and fathers on the same board, and I see them in the police department with the same name and the highway department with the same name, that's nepotism at its finest. Have any of you ever voted for a pay cut? Ever. On that track.
I'd do it for free.
I'll hold your applause to the end. On that track, why are you even voting for a pay raise at all? Isn't that a conflict of interest? Why aren't we putting that to referendum or bill and voting on it?
We've never voted for a pay raise for ourselves.
I believe it's come up in these conversations because I do follow you all very closely. Yes, yes it has. I call on my neighbor every single year about their backyard. Every single year that inspector jogs himself out there, and I let him come on my property and look at that neighbor's crappy in-ground pool that he's never opened, that the tarp is hanging in and the rats are coming to and fro. And we've had rats in this town since we tore down Westinghouse. How long has Westinghouse not been here? 20 plus years. 20 plus years we've had a rat problem in this town. How long have all of you been on this board? Just about as long. Still a rat problem. I think some of the rat problem is in the seats.
Carol, thank you for your comments. I
And what are
appreciate
we
it.
going to do when you've taxed everybody to the point where we all have to
Carol,
move?
I'm
What are you
sorry.
left with?
Your
What are you
ti-
left with?
Carol, your time is
Renters?
up. Carol,
Or people who abandon places?
Carol, I'm sorry. We got a lot of other people.
Well,
wanna
if you
speak.
cared enough about me as a resident, you'd know my name ain't Carol.
Well, I thought you came up with Carol. So you were Andrea. I'm sorry, Andrea. Please forgive me. There's just so much going on here tonight. I have a BING at North Pleasant Parkway. Anybody by their first name? Maybe.
First name's Bill.
Bill. I'm sorry, Bill. It looked
No,
like an N.
I just want to say that, I hear people talking about how they got to hire a lawyer and all that to fight their assessments and that. We have a town attorney right there. Everybody should be able to write their name, their address, hand it over to him, and let him take care of it. We're the town, he's the town attorney. Why would we hire anybody else? Why would we go out in our pocket to fight it? That's all I got to say.
All right, thanks, Bill. Barbara Terrell on Borden Road.
Yes. I've been listening all night long of everybody holding our feet to the fire of a May 25th deadline on a letter that I would like to know is even legal. It's not dated. Have you followed New York State guidelines in this process? Because I'm pretty sure we were supposed to be notified, someone said in March. Every year, we follow a certain process. There's certain deadlines. There's certain days. I've heard nobody say, hey, we followed the guidelines that we follow every single year. Is this even legal to reassess us when you haven't followed the guidelines? You have not followed the deadlines. You have not given us the opportunities that we have every year that we are not having this year. What about that? What about the legality of that? Is that legal? Because I would like to know. Can anybody answer that question? If you have not followed the legal procedures that are set in place for our assessments to go through, then how can our assessments go through? Can anybody speak to that? How about the attorney? Is this legal? We haven't been given our due process. We haven't been given the appropriate amount of time that we have been given every single year. Up until this year, when half of this board was not even notified that this was going on. How is any of this legal?
It probably isn't. We didn't pass a resolution. I didn't vote on going forward.
I don't care if there was a resolution or not. What about our rights?
You're right.
What about our grievance processes? What about our following the deadlines that we're supposed to have in place? Where's our protections? Because the process was not followed. So how is any of this legal? I still haven't heard not one person say, yeah, it is. Because I don't believe it is. And I don't believe that you can tax us without following the process the way it is written. And I would like an answer to my question. You have my name, you have my address.
I don't have your answers.
Well, I had to fill out my name right there to
No,
talk.
it's a comment period, so I'm taking notes of your questions, so we're going to look into those. I thought you brought up a lot of good points.
Well, I'll be back Thursday, and I want to know if this is legal for you to do this to us.
Ma'am,
I have a letter that's not even dated. How is that even legal? Isn't that part of the process?
You bring up a lot of points, but you can ask them too. Don't ask me. I don't know.
I mean, you're the supervisor. You're
No,
running the meeting.
I'm not. I have no more power than anybody else on this board, and they obstruct me all the time, so let them answer.
Okay, well, how about the attorney? Is this legal for you to tax us for you to force us to do an assessment? I got my notice yesterday. Today is May 10th, and by May 25th, I have to have all this done? What about the process that we follow every year that's not being followed this year?
I'm just looking for the sheet.
So, nothing. Nobody on this board is doing their job. And you have no right to tax us without following the legal procedure, whether it's from New York State or Cheektowaga or whoever put it in place. There's still procedures that need to be followed. There's still a lawful process that is not being followed. And I don't believe you have any right to put through this assessment without following those steps.
There it is. Okay, thank you. Amanda from Oakwood.
Good evening, council members, supervisor. My name is Amanda Weber. I'm an attorney. I represent people very much like the constituents here, disabled, injured in the line of duty, injured at their workplaces. What you're seeing is what I see every day. Every day I have to speak with these people and say, I'm so sorry that you can't make your mortgage payment. I'm so sorry you can't afford a Christmas present for your kids. This is ridiculous. Now, I have been a resident of Cheektowaga, born here, raised here. Cheektowaga is not something that you come into. It's a part of you. I went out of state for 3 years and I chose to come back to Cheektowaga because this is my home. If this continues, I'm going to have to leave. I'm going to have to take the skills that I've acquired to serve this community and go elsewhere. And it's absolutely ridiculous. On a side note, my parents' assessment, looking online, how have they been assessed $176,000 for a picture of a shed? A 10-by-8 shed. That's the only thing that's listed on the property. Yet they have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, beautiful ranch home. Not one person has been out to look at this. In the meantime, we have a dumpster of a backyard view from Calspan that no one is coming to address. There is rats. There is a junkyard. We constantly have these things going on that no one seems to care about. And respectfully, Councilmember Adamczak and Councilmember Hamber, watching the February live stream was absolutely appalling. You're due for recall. Thank you.
Sergeant Wannet, is there another rest of the sheet? This one's already done, so take that one just in case. And we only have one more speaker, Diane from Birchwood.
Since the lawyer is not allowed to answer my question, I would like somebody on the board to ask him if these letters that are unsigned and undated are legal. Notification. Will somebody please ask your lawyer?
Ma'am, this is just a comment period. We're going to be meeting with the attorney after this, so we'll get an opinion from him. He will give the board his opinion. So I'll make sure I ask that question.
And 2-week notice to do all this paperwork that we need to do? Is that legal?
I will find out.
My main point is, from when I closed on the house in October, I have a 33% increase.
Are you speaking in the microphone? Because I can hardly hear you.
Since October, when I closed on the house, I have received a 33% increase in evaluation. In addition, the day after I closed, the town called me and told me I owed another $1,400 because the previous owner had a veteran exemption, which I was told and cleared that it was the full tax amount, but it wasn't correct. The other thing is, if all the properties in this area were underassessed for so many years, the tax percentage per value was all based on that there was a low assessment. Now, if properties are going up 25%, 35% in assessment, has the town's expenses gone up by the same amount? In other states where the properties were always more expensive than ours, their tax rate was low compared to ours because our properties were worth less. Therefore, in order to pay the bills, the streets, the garbage, all that, you had to have a higher rate. Well, now you're going to full assessment. Time to lower the rate of the tax that's charged on each dollar.
That will go down, I know that for sure.
When's that going to go down?
Well, if they the higher the assessment, when they get to 100%, your tax rate per thousand will go down.
And what's it going to go down to per thousand?
We don't know. Do you know? Brian Nowak, you know all these figures. But it does normally go down when the.
Did it go down last year when people got reassessed?
Yes.
Did it go down? How many people's taxes went down?
Yeah, thank you.
And when do we get to vote on people again?
Well, elections, there's some next year. Okay, I'll call the public comment period. Is there? I'm going to call the public comment period to a close. Any other business? I will like to go into attorney-client privilege, but we don't have, that's not formally, so. Can everybody hang on? Did you hear me, Linda? I'd like to go into attorney-client privilege, but we don't have to